Yo! What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Moody, your coach of the Westchester Weavers, and today we have our JBA Season 6 Week 2 matchup against the Polish elf coach of the Soviet Slowkings. And we have a very tough battle indeed. Polish is a good player, and he has a pretty good team as well. On his side of the field, he has Delphox, Gastrodon, the ever so scary Kieran Black, Lucario, Fortress, and Floatzel. While on my side of the field, we got Blood Gang, the Rabambi, with HP Fire, Moonblast, U-Turn, and Giga Drain. Moonblast to hit Kieran really hard, HP Fire hit Fortress really hard, U-Turn for Momentum, Giga Drain for Gastrodon, and we are Expert Belt. So Expert Belt to, I was either thinking Specs or Expert Belt for this matchup, but I decided for Expert Belt so I can freely switch between moves. I don't think, unless Fortress has a lot of investment, if it's switching on a Rabambi, Moonblast, and HP Fire should be able to take it out at that point. I forgot the cox exactly, but that's what I'm banking on, just to be able to switch moves and not take like recoil damage off Life Orb or anything along those. I made it to outspeed Delphox. I honestly didn't think Floatzel was coming at all, so I put my speed tiers at Delphox level. So just a little above Delphox, and the rest into, I believe, defense or special defense, I forget. Probably defense. And yeah, that's Rabambe, Blood Gang. And then next we have Muty, the Mew. Muty is a mixed defense set with Flamethrower, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Soft Boiled. Yeah. And basically the point of this is come in on Kieran Black, knock off whatever it can. It can take a variety of like a mixed Kieran set. I designed it to just make sure it could take this and that. Obviously like Outrage would be a problem, or like a Z move would be a problem as well. So I definitely have to be careful about that. But that's why I wanted to knock off, because I wanted to see if this Kieran was either scarfed or like a Z move or something along those lines. If he's bulkier Kieran with like leftovers, up loot roost, he kind of beats it, but that's besides the point. This Mew is also here to make sure Fortress just can't get up rocks for free, and also to kind of come in on Lucario. It doesn't want to take a crunch that well, but Flamethrower will hurt it pretty badly. And if I can just get like Lucario down a little bit, then we should be alright. Next we have Dust, the Mega Pidgeot. With enough speed to outspeed Delphox, Timid Delphox, max speed, Hurricane, Heat Wave, U-Turn, and Roost. I decided Heat Wave because I wanted to hit the Fortress really hard, and I wanted U-Turn on this so I can have a little bit of momentum. As you can tell, common trend, my first 3 mons all have U-Turn, and it will, spoilers, more mons do have turn. And I'll get into that later once we go over to why. But yeah, so I wanted Hurricane and U-Turn, and I also wanted I wanted Roost on this so I can beat a couple mons like Mega Stabilize, potentially. But yes, so Mega Pidgeot does like a shit ton to his team. Like I'm pretty sure like it does like 70 or higher to like mostly everything. This is a modest Mega Pidgeot too, because I was able to go down to Delphox speed. So this thing is going to hit hard. There's not a lot of switching to this. Heat Wave is a guaranteed Oko on offensive Lucario, unless he has like a tad bit of special bulk, then maybe it's not a guarantee. Hurricane does a lot too, but Heat Wave can actually Oko, and that's why I put Heat Wave on it. That and for Fortress, but neither actually want to take a Hurricane down low either. Next we have our choice scarf, Def Jam the Infernape, because he's blazing. And Infernape has U-Turn, Close Combat, Flare Blitz, and I believe Stone Edge. Yes, Stone Edge to hit Delphox, Kyurem, and he had a couple, I think he had Flying type on his that I wanted to hit as well. I forget exactly what. But pretty much Infernape just come in, be a pivot, kind of just get big hits off. Close Combat still does a lot to Gastrodon, even if physically defensive Gastrodon. And then next we have Heliolisk, our Gashbellin Bowser Kagan mon. Heliolisk is Life Orb, I believe, with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and Hyper Voice, I want to say. Grass Knot for Gastrodon, Hyper Voice Nice General could stab, Volt Switch for momentum, and Thunderbolt for stab. And then finally we have Cruel World, our physically defensive Tentacruel, with Knockoff, Scald, I believe Rapid Spin, and I want to say Toxic's last move, or Toxic Spikes, I forget exactly. But Tentacruel is there to get rid of hazards and apply pressure with Scald, maybe get a burn hopefully, and no, Giga Drain is our last move. So Giga Drain, Rapid Spin, Knockoff, and Scald. So knock off any items from like a Kyurem or like a Gastrodon or so Delphox, or Delphox or Floatzel or whatever. Scald for just a good stab, and it can hit Delphox pretty hard and get a burn. Giga Drain for Gastrodon, just in case if he wants to try to come in on predicting Scald and try to get a Storm Drain, and Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. So yeah, that's the team. As you can tell, 5 out of the 6 of my mons have some sort of turn, and this is exactly what I want to do this matchup to accomplish. I want to make sure I get as many bad matchup, whittle down with turn, U-turn, Volt Switch, get him in the cycle a little bit, and then come in with Mega Pidgeot and just fire off a big ass Hurricane and do like shit ton to any of his mons that wants to be trifling. But yeah, so pretty much I'm playing the momentum game here. I do have to be very careful about Lucario though, because if Lucario gets a +2 up, I will get blown back. if you see my team, Extreme Speed body bags like Heliolisk and Ribombee at +2. It could have Earthquake for like Tentacruel, Crunch from you, and even Extreme Speed will do a lot to Infernape. I do have a tad bit of defense in Infernape, and that will be important for later. But let's get into this matchup right away. I decide to lead off with Infernape, because I don't think he's going to lead Floatzel, and he leads off with Kyurem Black. So I just want to see what this Kyurem is. So I U-turn, and judging by the damage, he does have a little bit of bulk in him, from what I remember. And the fact that he stayed in too kind of leads me to believe that he might be Choppleberry, or he's pretty confident that he can live in close combat. Or Chopple, so I'm thinking he might be Scarf, or he could be Chopple, or something along those lines. But he seemed pretty confident. So he just goes for Earth Power. This isn't anything. It doesn't do that much, but he gets the drop, which kind of sucks. We decide he goes for a substitute, and I'm like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. So he goes for the sub. I U-turn out because of the defense drop, and I just go for another U-turn and go back into Mew. While he goes for the substitute again, and I'm like, okay. So he's not revealing leftovers, so he reveals Roost. So he had sub, Roost, Earth Power. I know 3 of this Kyurem's moves right off the rip, and I'm like, okay, maybe the last one's Ice Beam. I wouldn't be surprised if Fusion Bolt to hit Tentacruel and Pidgeot, something along those lines. But I don't have to worry about both Bolt Beam stab or Bolt Beam, or like Bolt Beam and a Dragon move, which is good to know. So he sub Roost, and I just go for the Flamethrower. That doesn't do anything, and I think I kind of fucked up there. He goes for the Toxic. He misses, unfortunately, and we just Flamethrower again, and we get damage off, and it still is doing nothing. And he just subs right here, and then I U-turn out, and I'm like, okay. So he reveals that he is sub, Roost, Toxic, and Earth Power. That means he has nothing for Dust, and that means I can come in on Dust and just fire off a Hurricane and punch out damage really hard. So we decided to go for the free Hurricane right here, and we go for the Hurricane, and it does 58%. That is 2-hit KO, easy. And this Gastrodon's either going to die, or he can try to save it and try to attack something else. And I go for another Hurricane, and it does 74%, and he gets Confusion, which is really nice. But judging the way he brought it in, he has to be Choice Scarf. If he's not Choice Scarf, that's terrible play on his part. But he, so scouting the Scarf, I decided to go into Mew, and he goes for the Fire Blast. He misses, which is unfortunate, but he breaks through the Confusion and misses again. Really unfortunate on his part. I just go for the U-turn. It does not kill, which is kind of whack, but whatever. We decide to just go for the U-turn and just take this thing out, and we go right back into Mega Pidgeot. Oh no, we go into Gash Bell, and then he goes into this, and we Volt Switch out right here and get some Life Orb damage off, and then we go into Cruel World, and he goes to the rocks popping. We decide to go for a Scald, no burn. He goes for the Earthquake and breaks our Shuka. Even if it was Shuka, it would have done 34, not that much. So, but we decided to go for the Rapid Spin right here, and we just keep it going. We just go for the Rapid Spin. I have no reason not the Rapid Spin. If he decides to go for a move, I know I can live an Earthquake at this point, and we could just fire off a Scald, and then rocks are not going to stay in. So I'm kind of surprised he did it like this. I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish here, but I guess he was trying to make like catch me not to coming in, but I was just like, no, I'll just keep on doing it, especially if I'm doing 1%. I've no reason not to continue rocking spinning. Like like his play here is either to switch and switch into like Floatzel or like Clario or something. I don't know. I'm not even sure what he would switch into. I guess he's just trying to see if I would try to like predicting. But yeah, I'm slowly just gonna get rid of these rocks. But yeah, so he switches here, and I'm like, okay, I can't live in E power, so we just decided to just go into Dust, and he gets a substitute, and I'm like, okay, well, the worst he can do is Toxic me, which is not like the worst thing in the world. But he goes for another Roost here, and then we just Hurricane here, and he's playing with Confusions, and I get the Confusion right there, and he just Toxic me, breaks through. It is what it is. We decide to Hurricane again, and I think what he's trying to do is put me in +2 extreme speed range from Lucario and guaranteed Cleo, and I believe I am at this point. So he goes into Push Jet, the Floatzel, and goes for the Aqua Jet, and I'm like, okay, cool. We go into Muty, and he bulks up right here, and I'm like, okay, this could be bad. So he has bulk up, Aqua Jet, probably Waterfall, and then I'm thinking he might have Brick or something like that, so he doesn't get hard walled by Helios. So he decides to bulk up again, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So I just U-turn out into Tentacruel. I do have Giga Drain on Tentacruel, and he goes for the Waterfall, and then he gets flinched, or he gets the flinch, which really sucks. And then I gotta not get flinched on this turn too, and I don't, which is very fortunate. And then I just go and for the Giga Drain, he goes right into Lucario, and this is the scenario I was talking about. Lucario, even though I feel really good about this game, there's still Lucario, and if he gets 1+2, I could potentially lose the game. Like, even though we've been playing pretty well, I think for the most part, we could still lose this. So we decided to just Scald right here, because if we get the burn, the game is over for sure. So he goes for the SD, I go for the Scald, and we don't get the burn, and I'm like, yikes. So he goes for the Crunch right there, and he reveals that he's left Life Orb. So I'm like, okay, I have 5 Mons left. It's not good. It's not good. I have the kind of sack who I don't need. I need Mega Pidgeot the most. Mega Pidgeot can win this game. And I just need I need one of my Mons to live at least like 1 hit, and get a little bit of damage off on Lucario or kill it, and then win the game. That's what I'm hoping. So we go into Def Jam right here, and he does 96%, and he gets min rolled, which is terribly unfortunate for him, but very fortunate for me. That's what the little bit of defense I was able to put into Def Jam, speed creeping the Delphox allowed me to put that in there, and that's why Infernape's awesome. So I just go right for the close combat, and we take out this Lucario. So close combat, and then he goes into Gastrodon, and we decide to close combat again, and we take out the Gastrodon. So Def Jam picks up 2 kills this game, or 3 kills this game, and go for the 4th, and he reveals that he is Chopple. So he then E-powers me, and I die. But Def Jam did his job. He is definitely the MVP of this game. He lived the extreme speed from Lucario and took out 3 Mons. So we just go into Mega Pidgeot, and we get 2 kills with Mega Pidgeot, and that is game. So 2 kills for Mega Pidgeot, 3 for Infernape, and 1 for Tentacruel. That's a good game to Polish. Little kind of unfortunate rolls on his part, and a couple misses kind of suck for him. But I think we played all right that game. Do definitely have to tighten a couple things up and a couple tighten preps. Next week we are playing the Kentucky Reviles. Let me know what you guys think of the game. Do you like the game? Do you think I got super lucky? I did get super lucky. That's the answer to that. But yeah, let me know how you're liking the team so far. So until next time, my name is Moody, and I will see you guys later. Peace!